Daily Ticker brought to you by Pelican Brewing. Visit pelicanbrewing.com for more details on locations, events, and award-winning beers. Independently brewed since 1996, Pelican Brewing, born at the beach. The Blazers tumbled to number 7 in the lottery yesterday. That's what we're talking about right now. Somebody chimed in on the Vancouver Ford text line saying, last thing I need on my Monday morning is more dirt whining about the Trailblazers. Just give up and choose a new team. What you call whining, I call honesty, and I have given up, but I will not choose a new team. Joining us now is Garcia Gundersen at Blazer Banter on Twitter. Check out the Bulls vs. Blazer newsletter and podcast. Gundy, good morning to you. The reaction yesterday as the lottery is unfolded, what goes through your mind when you see Portland at number 7?
Well, that sucks. I mean, it does. You get one of the worst seasons in franchise history. You got the 7th pick.
Yeah. Any optimism, Gundy?
I mean, yeah. I mean, after the initial, I wrote about it on my Substack yesterday, and during the NCAA tournament, I was talking to a friend of mine who does a lot of draft scouting and AAU scouting, and he's always, he's doing stuff like that, and he's got more of a pulse on the draft world than I do. And I asked him, if you got the number 1 pick, what would you do? And he goes, trade it immediately. And I said, even for Alex Sarr. And he goes, well, yeah, Sarr maybe has the best potential, but his point was in his opinion, none of these guys in this draft have superstar potential. It seems like what they do have is guys that could be starters, role players, but maybe not guys that are going to hit stardom. So the cope here, I guess, is that we're going to be in a position where you were probably going to have to pay someone who is not a star caliber player, like a star caliber number 1 pick or number 2 pick, and now you don't have to do that. And there's no consensus, is what it seems like, on whatever the top 5 is. It's changed so many times that maybe you end up with the best player in the draft at 7 or even 14 or even the 30th pick.
Right.
Because it seems like this draft, no one really knows who's the true star guy.
Let me ask you this, Gundy. Blazer Banter newsletter, Blazer Banter podcast, at Blazer Banter on Twitter. We were just debating about the idea of drafting for positional need or best available player. And we've looked at multiple mocks now and who the hell knows of mocks, right? This is such a wild draft class. Nobody knows what the hell they're talking about. But there are some out there that have Portland taking a guard, whether it be Reed Shepard, this Topic kid, if he ends up falling, Topic, however you say his last name, to 7th overall. What do you have a visceral reaction? Do you have a strong reaction either way if they take another guard, considering the construction of the roster? Or are you just taking whoever you think is the best available player and be damned if it's another point guard, even though you took Scoot number 3 overall? What's your take on that?
I mean, you took Scoot number 3 overall. You have Anthony Simons as your starting point guard, and at least as of now, he's still on the team. I think it would be very hard for me to get behind another guard draft pick, to be honest. I think so. No, I don't know if I would go necessarily be best player available in this sense. I think I would look for best player available within a wing type player, because I just think that is, you need that, and I think it's super important, and specifically this team, I think they could use more wing depth. I mean, it seems like they're playing guys like Jabari Walker at the wing sometimes, and he's more of a power forward, and I that's what I would like to do. But I'm not running the team, but I just feel like it'd be really hard to have another guard when the good things that you did see out of Scoot, he was, towards the end of the season, he was the lead guard out there. He was running the show, and I think you need to give him at least another season, half a season, or full season, I would say, to show you what he can do.
If you were a general manager and you loved a player, you wouldn't draft him just because of position?
It depends on it depends on who the player is.
Well, I think what's interesting, I hear you, and I've been on this, you and we text all the time about hoops, and I think where we've disagreed in the past is I just don't think the recipe of having 2-6-3 guards in your starting lineup is ever going to win you a championship or actually get you in real contention for it. And maybe I'm reading wrong in our text conversations that I will always keep private. But what I would say, though, is if you love a player, I don't know how you don't take the player you love. And if Schmitz and Joe love this Toppich kid, if he doesn't get picked by the Spurs, if they love him, I don't know how you say no to it. Just because, well, you have other guys. Well, figure that out. I mean, I think it's a tough spot to be in where you love a player, but you don't take them because you have other positional players on your roster.
I mean, the investment in Scoot with the number 3 pick, obviously, you can't go back in time. I just think that that's such a massive thing, and you need to give that time to figure it out. Like, I don't know. Like, and I also think they even have other, like Ryan Rupert is another guard prospect that needs time to marinate, and it's just like I just feel like they've got so many guards that I would be shocked if they took a guard. I would be shocked. But we were shocked yesterday by them getting the 7th pick. So who knows?
Well, Gundy, they also have a coach. They don't want to be the coach, but they won't fire him. So I'm shocked about a lot of things going on right now.
Well, on that note, Gundy, I do want to ask you about that. I mean, I sometimes get the note of being the pessimistic, doom and gloom.
Sometimes.
I mean, I am that guy. I'm out. I don't trust the organization. I'm out right now, and they need something to bring me back and wake me up a little bit as a fan. I'm just if I were to ask you to take the 10,000-foot view, because Sprague brings up the coaching situation where we let the assistant coaches go, but don't worry, there's nothing to see here, even though one of them's his brother. Then we get the leaks, likely coming from Billups' camp, saying other teams would love to hire me if I were available to be hired. But I have the thought in the back of my mind of they just don't really want him to be the coach anymore, but they're too cheap to pay the buyout in the last year of the deal. So maybe we bring him back for another year, even if it's not the best thing for the young players. That on top of the TV situation, the ownership situation. Where's Eric Gundersen at like a 10,000-foot view with the Blazers right now?
I mean, last week, the Chauncey situation, it seems untenable. I mean, it just like for things to get that far down the line, you hear about him with Phoenix in the national media. So that means that it's been it's been going. Once it gets to that point, it's been going around for a while, and yeah, it's not good. And if they're doing that all to save a couple $1 million, that's I don't like that. That doesn't seem like something that I think an organization should be doing business that way. I personally don't like that, and it seems like it's a little bit of both people on each side don't want to be the bad guy, and in that. It seems like everyone is looking like a clown. Mm-hmm. And I think that is, right now that's the number one thing on my mind after all that stuff. But then you've got, the TV deal. I think that'll get resolved just because you're seeing a lot of stuff like that in the market already with the Kraken deal getting resolved. I think there will be a resolution there, but I mean, organizationally, this is not, it's not a great place to be. I mean, they got the 7th pick. I mean, I think that's not going to be that bad ultimately. But the stuff leading up to the lottery with the rumors about Chauncey last week is unsettling. And it's and I can only imagine what the players are going through. Is he going to be our coach? Is he not going to be our coach? You don't want that. And I think that's a major concern to me. And I don't like the way that's going, because then you're setting the stage for an all-time awkward season next season if things continue to be what they are.
I will just believe they fell to 7 this year so they can get 1 next year, and then we're raising the flag for Cooper when he gets here. My final question for you, Gundy, because we appreciate the time this morning from the toilet. Give us one player for you that you really like, and if they're there at 7, you'd love to see them take. Who's the player or the name that for you've either watched in college or you've watched, international. You're an international hoops head. Who is the player for you that if they're there at 7, you'd love for them to take?
Oh man, that's a tough call. I mean, I do really like the makeup of Cody Williams. I know that a lot of mocks have him going like at 12 to Oklahoma City to play with his brother. But I mean, his brother is like one of the great like development stories and draft stories. And they did it with Chris Murray after drafting Keegan Murray. I think, basketball is a family business. And I think Cody Williams would be great. And I mean, you're seeing some mocks where Zachary Risacher is falling in the draft because some teams might be looking at guards. I think he'd be great. He's an excellent shooter, which the Blazers definitely need. So those are two guys that come to mind for sure. I mean, I love Nikola Topic. We talked about that, obviously, but I would be shocked if they took him just because he's a guard. But he is 6'6", which I think is something that people overlook about him, that he does have a little bit more size at point guard than some of Portland's other point guards.
Where did Jabari go to college? Jabari Walker?
He went to Colorado.
Where did Joe Cronin go to high school?
Yeah, he's from Denver.
Chauncey, you're one more year head coach.
Cody Williams
maybe.
played with who? I mean, I'm just, it's family business.
His name is Eric Gundersen. Give him a follow on Twitter at Blazer Banter. Check out the Blazer Banter newsletter and podcast, the Substack, blazerbanter.substack.com. We will have to get you back on as we get closer to the draft because you're one of these sickos that watches European basketball. And I pull up the mocks, and I don't know 97% of I'm like, who the hell is that? I've never heard of this guy in my life. Man, these are European players. So we got to get you back on as we get closer. Thanks for the time this morning, Gundy. We always appreciate it.
All right, sounds good, guys. Thanks.
There you go. Eric Gundersen of the Blazer Banter newsletter.